Exactly.
Okay. See, this is why non-duality is very simple. Thank God you are what you're looking for. Can you imagine trying to just see what happens when we're trying to change a date on a Zoom? Can you imagine having to set off a path to arrive at the indescribable? Could you imagine? Could you imagine the indescribable, incomprehensible, and unknowable? You would expect that someone could map a path to that? This is the beauty of this message, is you are already what you're looking for. Yeah. So what would be the best thing to look at that point is the looking for. Yeah. Just see what makes up the looking for. It's not like you have to go to another continent. It's right where you are. The head doesn't get the message. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of this message. You'll see the head cannot get this message because you already are, without any requirements met or levels of meritocracy or this or that. You are what you're looking for. Simplest, the most disarming message you could ever hear. You are what you're looking for. The head cannot hear that. It can say it's the hearer of it, but for it to have any understanding of the ununderstandable, it has to make it understandable, which isn't it? So the beautiful thing about this is, all right, you are what you don't go to the necessariness about it. You take a look at the looking for. And what is being described as what's looking for it cannot be what's looking, because what's looking would not be in the process of looking for it. Yes? So it has to be some kind of effect that has the what's looking, taking itself to be something else and being driven to the point where it's looking for what's the answer, what's looking. Yeah. So the looking for it is that's the gateless gate. The pasture's already there. It's already so. We want to see that which wants to find it and is looking for it is truly the gateless gate. It is what it's looking for. Incredible. Just no necessary, no requirements, nothing. You're just completely, your whole movement. And what is a movement? Call to arms. What is that bugle call to call to arms? Is you are already something that's not sufficient or adequate, and you better use this to look for something that's more sufficient and more adequate. You want to call it the authentic self or something completely different than you, or the transcendent all or whatever. But this obviously doesn't meet the criteria on any level to be that which I'm looking for. So I'm using this to look for shit. Yes, because obviously it's not what I'm looking for. You know, it's just ain't. Or why would there be so much agitation in the pot? If you were that soup that you wanted to drink, then that would be easy. But you're not. There's a discouragement in this idea of being this thing, to the point we're willing to do shit that would take lifetimes maybe to change it. Would you wait lifetimes to have a couch delivered? No, of course not. You know what I mean? Would you buy from Amazon and it said, oh, delivery date ad infinitum? You know, could be any day. No, the whole point of Amazon is to get the shit as quickly as you can. And now they're fucking with it because they say they're going to have it a day. And then they go, oh, your new delivery date, which was the real delivery date, is like a week later. That's all the Amazon is out of the Amazon. I can fucking buy something and wait for a week somewhere else. Yeah, the whole point of Amazon was like 1 day delivery. I mean, as soon as you buy it, they're right at the door. What? I can't believe how fast. Or then it was 2 days. That's the point.
I don't know what you want.
So what's looking is what you're looking for.
because I still have a
If
place.
at that moment, you go, at
Tying
that
up loose
moment,
ends,
if you
taking
start
some,
looking
taking.
for what's looking, you have now been the example you just read. Your head, because you're now doing exactly what it described. Yeah, you're now looking for what's looking. It's amazing. You hear, all right, what's looking is what you're looking for. But but there's a way of disavowing our participation of like, we're thinking I could be wet, but you're drenched. You're already in the fucking water, but it's this head always has like an aquarium-like thing between it and everything else. And it's like disassociated, literally. So when it's the example, it wants you to give an example of it. Right there is the example of it. What's looking is what you're looking for, and then you immediately start looking for. There you go. Yeah. There you go. So look at the looking for, because that has, let's say, a suspicious, vague assumption that carries a lot of weight here. There's a you that seemingly is looking for, that's giving all the value to the looking for. Yeah, because you see the rawness of the looking for what's looking as what's looking doesn't work. Yes, but that thing that keeps doing that exact thing doesn't get it. Why would you want to sit that down for a big, long, talk? It doesn't get it. I remember one time when I first, for some reason, I ended up in a program called Project Return in the Bronx. I was with a really motherfucker bad addict, and he was suggesting to me to go to this program. That's how bad I was. I mean, I was judging this guy as, whoa, and then he was thinking he was way better than I was. So it hit me in a sober assessment, and I went in there. I mean, I said, if this guy Chris thinks I need to go in a program, I must be way fucking underwater. So I went in this program, Project Return, but I was out to lunch. I remember seeing like the therapist or the counselor's room, and I remember sitting in a chair, and the therapist was right maybe where you were, or the counselor, and what they were saying, it actually said, it was like nothing was landing. It just was going like, whoa, I could remember, whoa, like I was, this, nothing landed because I was completely occupied. Something had me, and all the windows were closed. There was no doors open for any other information to get in. I was just in a trance by this sort of parasitical movement that had me for transportation, and knew that this little visitation at this program wasn't going to last forever. And it just waited itself out until I got a justified resentment, and I split, and then it was flamboyantly there for me again. Yes. Look at the looking for, because the looking for is being used to imply there's someone looking. There's not a direct recognition that someone's looking, because that's not true. Yeah, something's looking through us, and then it says it's you looking. You never see you looking. You is a narration. It's not the action event. It's not seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching. It's living an interpretation of being the seer, hearer, feeler, taster, touch. Yeah. So when it uses the verb of looking for to reinforce that there's a you that's looking for. You want to see the you, look at the looking for. Yeah, because looking for, the tail that wags this dog is the you. Looking for claimed to imply a you, and now it becomes very important somehow that the looking for becomes very important when you don't take someone else's looking for to be that important. But the looking for that is connected with this idea of you is very fucking important. Yes? But other people's looking for, you could give a shit. Yeah, so it's not the looking for, it's the you. So that there is no you looking for, there's a looking for claim, and now there's a you. That you wants to constantly be reinforced, so it loves to keep looking for. Because all the looking for is being used to reinforce the you that's looking for. This is why seeking and doing shit can be quite addictive, because there's an agenda going on with the activity, and it's not the activity. What's activity is being used to imply the noun, that's doing it or not doing the activity. Yes? Yeah. So what's looking is what you're looking for. All right, let's check out fuck the what's looking, because it's already set. It's already set. That's the condition. What's looking? That's us. Yeah. Let's look at the looking for. And if you look at the looking for, you're going to see a vague outline that's going to describe this vague, assumed, very translucent idea. You're going to see it. Yeah. You're going to see the looking for has an agenda. It's been put to a use, which is to reinforce the you. That's looking for. When you stop looking for what's looking, which is going to happen if you hear this message, not this, I mean satsang, not non-duality, it's usually going to bring about an effect that you're going to question the looking for, or it's just going to stop. You're going to observe that you're not looking for it anymore. You're not subscribing to the Buddhist magazines. You're not waiting to see who's coming into town this week, who's talking. And I hope they're young and new, because all the old motherfuckers, and you're hoping there'll be a radical new messenger and all that. It just goes on and on and on. Yeah. And then you're bummed out if you missed anybody and stuff like that. Okay. So you look at the looking for. Wow. The looking for has stopped. Now you see the emperor with no clothes. The clothes of the emperor is the looking for. When the looking for stops, you see the nakedness of the emperor. You see it. You see the rawness of this imagination. It's like in Zen, they say, there's the finger pointing to the moon, but in this, there's something going on in there. Someone's sharpening their pencil there. In that thing, there's actually a moon that all the things pointing to. The moon of the mental activity is imaginary. Yeah. It's all the obsession with the looking for that's reinforcing this very, very weak projection of a you. Yeah. The bigger the projection and the thicker of its appearance is based on our interest in it. Yeah. When you lose interest in the you that's being projected by the claiming of the looking for, that's exactly what you've been looking for. Because now, instead of this being emphasized, the you through the looking for, the not looking for, you're there with the presence, yes? The sense of onness, I amness, whatever you want to call it. You don't give it a freaking name. You don't. You see it as how a name would be pointless. Because it's what? Indescribable, unknowing, incomprehensible. Let's leave it at that. Yeah. So this idea of what's looking is what you're looking for is meant to trigger to looking at the looking for. Yeah. If you lose interest in the looking for, there's less interest in the you. The you is feeding off the interest that's put on the looking for. Yeah. When there's less interest in the you, there's more interest in what? Find out for yourself. Maybe the presence that has been used by the head to imply or reinforce the idea of you as this vertical noun fucking action figure is actually just the presence of our existence. I am. Yeah. Now, at least your follow is simple. Blue is blue, red is red. Yes. Yeah. You just you're just here. Yeah. There's no ladder to get here, and you cannot not be here. This thing gets this. So this whole dualistic, I got to go this way, but I'm afraid I'll be pulled that way, you lose interest in it all, because this here isn't accompanied or wasn't not here, didn't come before it. It's here. Yeah, that's it. Big, huge here, big, huge now. Yeah, just, and it's obvious. It's not like you have to chant yourself into believing it. It comes over you. Yeah, it just washes through and just, just fucking knock down all these artifices of misunderstand. Just not with any intention. It's just the understanding just goes to the sense of its own nature and huge. Starting from isn't a dualistic subject object. You're starting from that which is before subject object. And this is non-duality. You're now starting from not two instead of starting at two, which most of us have been put into that race. And we've been starting at subject object. Yeah. To everyone else, I'm an object, but to me, I'm a subject. Yes. And to you, you're the subject, but to me, you're an object. So the subject object, dualism, whatever you want to call it. This subject objectness is what projects or a vision or a view that you see everything in two. There is not a real dualistic world. The world isn't dualistic. It's an appearance. We're dreaming. Yeah. So we're dreaming from this idea of subject object, and it gets projected into this. Yeah. And it goes off. And then you get all these clues after a while when you hear about duality, and it's it starts making sense. This went up and then it goes down. You throw a ball up, it's got to come down. This goes up, and then you realize, wait a minute. This feeling I feel quite a lot if I'm going up a steep staircase. I think it's the stair, but I was mistaken. It's gravity. What? Yeah, there's a force, unbeknownst to me, that I'm running up against when I go up a steep staircase. Stop fucking blaming the staircase. Or you're going to have fucking false justified resentments over staircases. It's not going to go anywhere. If you see that it's gravity and you're going, wow, I seem to be completely affected by gravity all day. Yeah. How am I ever going to know it? Well, I should know it. I'm completely been oppressed by it all day. I'm going to study gravity. I'm going to read books. I'm going to go to a gravity seminar. I'm going to go become a professor of gravity and warn people. No, the best way of learning is to enter an anti-gravity chamber. Once you go into the anti-gravity chamber, you know the effects of gravity by its absence. Exactly what happens. Exactly what happens. You don't realize trying to understand, let's say, the one as a two is the heaviness of the endeavor. If you understand the two as not the one, there's a lightness to it. Yeah. The message is obvious. There's no lines to get a medal or parade set. So the head doesn't get much, even like in recovery, there's a simple recognition in people in recovery, and it's called abstinence. Yeah? It's a great space because they're not interested in anything. They don't care, but they don't want a micro dose or do a macro dose only on the leap year, February 29th, every leap year. They have no interest in mini or macro dose. You don't care. So you're like free from the occupation or going into those little mental trips. Yeah, absence. Yeah. So when it's obvious that you haven't done anything, it's hard for the head to get proud about that. Yeah. It's like a big stumbling block for its mental pride because it's obvious it had nothing fucking to do with it. Yeah, it can really it can't build much. It doesn't have any material to work on. It doesn't. And after a while, it just, it has a little bit of putty. It looks like gummy or something. It's not even close. Yeah. You've taken all of its shit to work with. It can't make up shit much. Yeah. So this is why I feel in a lot of those Buddhist temples and all the temples, they try to keep it as simple as possible. So your head doesn't get much free food, so to speak. You know, no one gives a shit if you sat longer in the meditation hall than the other person. You know, no, you're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. You know what I mean? And I used to always be amazed. I used to do Tai Chi in the park in San Francisco. And there was a monk guy, an Oriental guy, who would be walking a very small area. Every Tuesday I was there for years. Yeah. He didn't go to Tahoe and walk 4 or 5 hours, 8-mile track. He didn't have the jackets and the fucking boots and everything. He had his robes on, just walked around. And it seemed that as it was fresh every fucking time he did it, though it was the same path. Yes. There's so much value there. So much freaking value. And I used to watch him for years. I'd be there and just walk, you know, quietly. Bye. We get off the same time. He'd walk home, whatever. Yeah. Come back, the same thing. Yeah. Because his mind was fresh. Yes. His mind was fresh. There's no staleness in timelessness. Nothing gets boring or stale. There's no time is what produces a sense of boredom. Yeah. If you see something and you think you've seen it before, you get bored seeing it now. But in timelessness, it's fresh, like a kid. You know, you're like a kid or like a dog, like my dog. My dog has to be on a different time frame because if you're gone 5 minutes or a week, its excitement of seeing you is the exact same. You just went outside for like you forgot your phone and you come in, it's sort of like you've been, you know, separated for 5 years in a war or something. Or you're actually a month and then the same thing. I don't think she has a quantity of time. Yeah, 5 minutes can seem like a fucking lifetime. Seems like, and then I swear, you throw in the ball, she does I don't think there's one moment that she's entertaining. Oh, I don't want to do this anymore. It just doesn't seem like it. It seems like she's completely jacked up, like all the fucking time. So something's going on. Yeah, we may not have an understanding of it, but you can see there's something uniquely different than how you seem to travel. You can see that. You don't have to be a scientist to recognize that. You can recognize other things are on different speeds and different functionaries. And it's basically time, obviously, is not a thing of itself. It's a construction because it's constructed differently for dogs than it seems to be constructed for an action film. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, these things aren't hard to understand. You just observe stuff. You observe shit and the shit tells you stuff. I hope. I mean, you know, so this message is the seeker usually would be obviously the great books of like personal spirituality, like Eat, Love, Pray, or whatever those things. There's always this, the seeker is the most pronounced, and then there's maybe the sought. And in the pursuit or the leisurely, I pray, I eat, I fornicate, or whatever, yes, but it's usually the seeker and the sought. Yeah. Seeker somewhere in and of itself, unique, independent, separate, and then sought. And obviously, if the seeker was the sought, there wouldn't be any sought. Yeah. Or if you were, you could see it in time as you were the sought, but every moment would be the finding of it in a new way, in a sense. Yeah. But the seeker and the sought, okay. We've been in this dynamic on the front end, all of us, seeker and the sought. The things that have been sought have been different. Like drugs for me, let's say Buddhism, girls, drugs. No, a lot of emphasis down one of the roads, mostly. I want to make sure I went as far as I could to proclaim this doesn't work. And I have great faith when I say that, because I feel I went as far as you could go, actually, there on that road. All right, so the seeker. Sought can be variable things, yes? It switches a lot. change your inclinations, whatever. Summer, you're looking for shorts, winter, parkers, you know, but the sought is in there most of the time. So the seeker is definitely in there most of the time, because the seeker is what's actually given the meaning. The sought seems to imply about what's being sought. It comes from the seeker, obviously. This is a subjective experience. Buddhism isn't getting me jazzed up. I'm jazzed up about Buddhism, so to speak. Yeah, Buddhism has been here for 5,000 years or something. This is the first time I get jazzed up by it. No, it's me. Yeah, yeah, seemingly. All right, seeker and the sought, many soughts. The beautiful message, non-duality, seeker is the sought. Wow. Just compressed time. Time, obviously, sought, seeker. I'm not the sought, so it's going to take me time. I hope I can speed it up, but there's going to be an ingredient of time before the sought, before the seeker finds the sought. Yes, could be a half a second, but that could be an infinity. Could be fucking a forever. Seeker, sought. So seeker's here, sought's some whatever. And the seeker wants to get where the sought is, obviously, with the hopes that it will be a better seeker or something. Yeah. So there we go. This basically is the equation most of us have lived under. And we run into non-duality, and they give you a small half-sentence message. The seeker is the sought. Wait a minute. Yeah, so there I'm very comfortable with, you know, I went this far with drugs, a little bit into mysticism, a lot into Buddhism. Yes. Seekings were, and you know, I got identity from each seeking. I did. Found something that made me feel better. Yeah, felt like I was on the Buddha team or the non-duality team, or yes, it was just like shooting coke was different than snorting coke. We look at people snorting coke like fucking waste. They were wasters. Why would he waste a fucking good cocaine snorting? Yeah, really. And we thought we're shooting up every day. We're so beyond you fat fuckers. Yeah. Every little hierarchy has its pride. It does. I swear to God. Yeah, I've been in a lot of those camps. All right. Seeker, a lot of time. Sought. Yeah. So sought somewhere other than where the seeker is. So there's space, there's time. What's going on usually here? We're seemingly making up space and time to something that doesn't have any space and time, which is us. Yeah. Well, we're all the space and none of the time. So seeker is the sought, changing the sought all the time. Sounding seeker is the sought. Seeker and the sought, a lot of switching on the sought and how you seek. Yeah. Some people are really subtle now. They're not seeking. They're seeking, but with non-seeking. You can't get out of this shit. You can't. So seeker is the sought. Wow. Incredible. Space and time have been compressed. Yeah. What are you going to do? Probably move around uncomfortably in your seat for a second. What? I can't stand this pause. You know, I want to find it. I don't want to be it. Yes. And then hopefully when you get to that point and the system has been pushed to a different narration of the system plays, which you probably haven't heard before. And it's awesome to hear it and see it as not you, because you get down to the nitty gritty of what really threatens the system. And it finally starts talking truth in a sense, like, fuck, yeah. And then there's a seeing of the emperor with no clothes, with the hope. Why is that? What's the hope of seeing the emperor with no clothes? Is to be able to see the emperor while wearing clothes as having no clothes. That's the point of it. It's not a peak experience for you to enjoy in a spiritual amusement park. It's hopefully going to lead you to a recognition, even though it's in full regalia, you're going to see the emperor has no clothes. Yes, yes. So when you're looking for something, you'll see the looking for will switch to something quite a lot, but the looking for will always reinforce the same thing, the looker. Yeah. And if you're not the looker, then that whole drive of reinforcing the looker, there's a loss of interest in it. Seriously. And how whatever it was using to do that activity, you're going to lose interest in. And for some of us, it's been spiritual seeking. Yes. Because we saw Paul was seeking through spirituality a sort. Yeah. That obviously wasn't where the seeker was, or why would there be seeking? Yes, this is the beauty of the non-duality message. You are what you're looking for. A lot of shit doesn't say that. They say you can become what you're looking for. You were once that, but you fucked up, and you can re-become what you're looking for. But you are what you're looking for is beautiful. Beautiful. Most disarming fucking news you could ever probably receive if you actually hear it. Yeah, you hit it, it goes, You cannot believe, just like gravity, you cannot believe the force of being personally responsible for so much shit is just a huge albatross around us all fucking day. You know what I mean? That's why when you see the head react to the word awakening, it has nothing to do with what the effects of awakening or the acknowledgement of awakening would produce. It has nothing to do with that. It makes you fucking pissed off and frustrated that you're not awake. Or enlightenment means cessation of all suffering. And at that very second, you can be reading the definition, cessation of all suffering, and the head will be making suffering out of the enlightenment. Don't you see it? You're the example. Stop fucking looking for examples. Look at what the example is us. Yeah. And right where that stuff's going on is what we're looking for. You got to go through the gateless gate. You can make up all your golden gate spiritual bridges and all how much the tolls are, and not eating for 3 weeks. I'm in a dark room. All these requirements, yeah. But the greatest requirement is no requirement, because this doesn't know what to do with itself. It has to stop the gigs revealed, so to speak. Yeah, it has to keep agitating. When it stops, it actually stops, and you continue. And if that doesn't whack you, I don't know what will. When you see that which was assumed to be you, and it stops, and there's a still seeing of it. So when the seer stops, and there's still seeing of it, the gig's up, bro. Somewhere you get it. Somewhere it may take a while for it to come up to this chaotic surface, but it's going to be inevitable. Like Ramana said, your head is in the tiger's mouth already. He didn't say, okay, there's the tiger's mouth, safely 50 yards away. Here's your little lovely head, not in the tiger's mouth. No, it says your head is in the tiger's mouth already. You heard too much. Yeah, message is already kicked on. It's going to do its thing. For me, it showed up, it disarmed me. I haven't done anything. If I had to go to satsang and get my satsang card signed, Adishanti or Muji or something, I wouldn't have any signatures. I've never gone in years. Have no interest in it. Think those people are great. I do. Am I interested in meeting them? No, I don't care. I think a lot of things are great. Do I need to be near them? No, I don't. Because there's something really great that's readily available at all times. Yeah. I'm cool with that. So, yeah. So the seeker is the sought. What's looking is what you're looking for. Obviously, what's looking and you that's looking for are two different things. What's looking is not the you that's looking for. What's looking is what you are looking for. That you isn't what's looking. It's a mental activity. That's a mental idea. It's a noun born out of fucking salt. What do you think a manifestation is? It's a manifestation. You know what I mean? The statement of manifestation tries to it's an activity that's ongoing. Manifesting is manifesting. It's just dreaming. If we had a chance to check it out as a dreamt, we would be in the non-manifest. We wouldn't be, there would be nothing. Whatever. So, hey, that's the day. Today. So we got what? What's looking is what you're looking for. How many? 6 words? What's looking is what you're looking for. 7, I think. 7, right? 7 words we're using for today. 7. Oh, 8. I've been 9. Oh, see, it already grew. Yes, I'm counting each word. All right, so it's 9. Well, we're on the 10. That's not bad. The seeker is the sought is less. Yeah. I am that I am. That's pretty good. I am that I am. Can't beat that. Yes. Is not bad. This not bad. This without a that. So don't you see it? This is what came through and put me in this seed assignment, really. Because what was going on, I responded just as my head would respond in a systemic way, and that recognition of its response to this sense of onness was the greatest lessons I've ever seen. I saw its reaction to what is as what ain't, and it made it glaringly obvious that that is not a thing. It's not me. It's not a better me or a worse me. Yeah. And it just became obvious. And then it became more obvious. It told me, this download, that if we don't see this mental activity, we're going to be looking from it. Yeah. It doesn't matter how peak of a peak experience you've had. If you're still here, it's being claimed. The head is claiming that peak experience. It don't matter if you had the longest epiphany of all registered time. That time epiphany stopped probably, and now the story of you is continuing, and now that epiphany has been claimed. And the story of the epiphany is you're the one who has the epiphany or had the epiphany. Yes? It doesn't matter what's happening in the openness of what you are to what you're not. It's mechanical. If you're still breathing and there's a life given to this body and the brain's getting enough oxygen, it's going to claim whatever's happening, whatever did happen, whatever may happen, as it's happening to you, or you're the doing of it, or you're being done to by it. It's mechanical. If you're waiting for that to enter the no thought, open, absolute, empty realm, it's pointless. It's in that realm already, and it's still looking for fucking stores. It's in the realm already. It's walking around in emptiness, seeing fucking fullness. I remember I went to Walmart once. It was really a cool thing. I was involved with this group in Australia, Osho people, and we did a thing called the Path of Love. They had taken another process called the miracle love of other people, and then they made it into the Path of Love and stamped it with Osho. I had no idea, just circumstance brought me to this thing. It was like an 8-day event. It was awesome in a lot of ways. And one day they took us to Walmart because we were going to do a performance and you'd have to buy your costume. And I went into Walmart and I never saw a more fuller place completely empty. It was just mind-boggling. It had millions of shit in there, but it was completely empty. It was the greatest example. I was walking around, there's fucking nothing here. Who would have thought, you know? That's why I used the Walmart awakening moment, because that Walmart was like a toaster fell off the thing and hit me in the head in a way. I saw man. What full doesn't mean it's not empty. A space could be completely full, but the nature of the space is empty, obviously. So in an appearance, a fullness can happen in an empty space. Anything can, because the space is empty of anything. Yeah, that's us, man. That's what's going on, I feel. Yeah. We're inherently empty of the seeker and the sought. Yet it appears seekers and soughts flying around all day. Yeah, yeah. So, hey, anyone out in Zoom land?
Yeah. I guess Amber is new and she's really enjoying today.
Can you speak up a little? It's hard for, I can't hear
Gotta
you.
get an external microphone.
All right.
I said Amber is really enjoying today. She's new and she expressed enjoyment in the chat.
Professing enjoyment in the chat.
So this is the deepest, yet most simple and subjective place I've ever taken my brain. Thank you so much for today. I'll definitely be attending every Saturday. She's from Alberta.
Oh, Alberta. Yes, we have some friends in Alberta. Monique is in Alberta. And her insane 80-something-year-old mother. She's great. 89. I always, when I see her, I'm always the lost son. I'm the lost son of Monique's mother. Yeah. All right. Anyone have a question there?
Yeah, Peter has his hand up. Hi, Peter.
It's such an incredible. This room has held a lot of joyous aliveness, hasn't it? Remember what they used to try to kill us with the ammonia? Remember those days? This whole room they washed everything with ammonia. Probably
What did they change? It's not
What?
ammonia anymore?
No, it doesn't have the ammonia anymore. It's great. I sort of like the ammonia in some way. All right. So anyone have anything to
Peter.
say?
Peter.
Peter.
Yeah. Hey, Paul.
Hey.
You know, for the first time, when you were sharing just now about the seeker is the sought, yeah, it was like the brain wasn't really involved. It was just like this simple something. Just something that I could simply see the truth in what you shared. And then it was just like something like, whoa, am I really seeing this? Like like I could see all the trouble that I've been caught in.
Yeah.
And then seeing that, that the seeker is what, yeah.
Yes.
And then it's like, and then as that was really kind of hitting, it was like, wow, like this doesn't, then this, it was like what was arising in this that was being recognized. It was like,
No.
it was like, it was this, oh, wow, like there's no conditions then on what the hell happens here. Like,
Yes.
I don't need anything in this world to happen. In the recognizing that the seeker is what is being sought. And then as that's seen, it's just like, oh, then I can just care less what happens. It just doesn't matter.
Yes. Something will matter. It will matter to something. You're gonna get something, and you're gonna see how slowly the other thing doesn't get it. You're not gonna want to pay for that kid's college. It's not gonna become a doctor. That's the perfect reaction to the message. You see, it ain't getting it. It's fantastic because they said, "Oh, that means I'll never get concerned about it." He'll be concerned about shit in a second, but the system took the hit. You mean I don't have to be concerned about anything? Yes, and yet it's concerned about everything. That's the fucking paradox. Yeah, people are waiting for the shoe to drop. In the dualistic world, it doesn't. You get kicked by the shoe. Yeah. But there was a seeing of it as you're sharing right now. That's the point. That's the point. Yeah. The head always likes to have examples, but it pushes itself out of the being the example. So you're now observing, and I'm going to try to learn by. No, you don't have to learn by other people. You just look at this. This is another person's example.
Battery 100%.
Other than you.
Connected.
There's a lot of learning there, especially with this. How you could be completely armed, non-dualistically, with like 6 sentences. 6 sentences out of the non-duality spin. Seeker is the sought. What's looking? Yes, it's what you're looking for. You can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. Can't use mind to seek mind. You can't use light to seek light. Whatever can be perceived cannot be perceiving. This is all you need, really. Just sit there, just read them, but hear them. Not just read them, but hear them, and see it. The whole fake edifice can drop. Those yodels can create huge avalanches in an imaginary fucking structure. Really, I'm serious. You don't need much. Just like whatever can be perceived cannot be perceived. Wow. That's just mind-boggling. Because the head hearing that just keeps on thinking it's the perceived. That's good to know. This whatever is not coming with me. It's not the carry-on bag I'm always stuck with. I can leave it at the airport, and if someone says, "Is this your bag?" Disclaim it. Never saw it before. Some other fucker will pick it up. Let them carry it. You can even get on United Basic Economy now. I can't wear a belt and shit. It's like old Ryanair. I was going to do a talk in England, and I had a book. I was so afraid of being over their kilo thing. I just ripped out some of the pages. I left the book home, and I had 7 pages that I read at these talks. Oh, basic economy. You better breathe a lot before you get on. You can't breathe. 3 minutes or less in the bathroom, only once. Be happy you only get 1 black and white infomercial. Fucking it's what we put up with is unbelievable. So yes, thank you. That was incredible because of the aliveness of the recognition. That's what disconnects the hearer's story, and the hearing is resounding. Yeah. Yeah. When you're hearing without the hearer, the hearing can be resounding. Yeah. 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 Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else, Mike?
Yes, Chris B. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Mike,
Chris?
can you guys hear me okay?
Yep, good.
Who's this? Chris Bitterman?
Chris
No,
B.
Dave?
B.
I don't
Chris-
know. Go ahead. Oh, Chris B over here.
Yeah.
I can't recognize you without the hat.
Exactly. And then here you show up with that. I mean, what?
That's right. Well,
This is like the non-duality, not 2 hats.
that's right. This is not a necessity. It's raining outside.
Only 1 hat is allowed. No, I just wanted to say quickly, like something you said earlier about losing interest in, I'm just going to paraphrase here, the things that the selfing is doing to like reinforce its own importance or its own existence. That just really hit me that, but there's a lot of things
Yeah.
I'm interested in that I don't whole hog lose interest in them. You know, it's like I'm maybe interested in, I make art and things, but I start losing interest in the aspect of it that is, you know,
Yes.
caring
That's
about
good.
what other people think of me or trying to prove something. That's really interesting because I've been kind of afraid hearing this message, like I'm gonna have to give things up that I'm interested in or something. But you see the line, how the selfing kind of tarnishes a lot of things. And you don't have to give up the thing necessarily, just you lose interest in that tarnishing aspect, that tarnished aspect.
Yes, that's good, yes. But remember, there is no self that's getting reinforced.
I
There's a
know, yeah, no,
reinforcing of this idea of self.
it's trying to
There
reinforce
is no
the,
self, because that would be real then. You would be a self that's getting reinforced, but there's just a reinforcing of this idea of self.
I do see that. I really do see it, like how it comes up. Like sometimes if my wife is getting irritated with me and we're arguing about something stupid, and your reflex is you want to be right. You want to win. And it's like, on whose behalf am I trying to win this argument? Like, who is this? Who is this? You see this like an entity being threatened that is not any entity. It's just easy to think of it that way, but it really is like a process for protecting itself.
Yes,
Yeah,
and it's gonna keep doing that.
yeah. Anyway,
This isn't about it changing. It may not. It's about your losing of interest here, or there's a losing of interest. It's not, you can't call it a you, but there's a losing of interest in it once again. And then the emphasis on every event being that which is the one who has the event, the noun of you, gets spread out. Yeah, it gets dispersed. And a lot of times you'll come into a room and the first thing you'll sense is the space in the room, not the chairs, everything. You'll just feel the space in the room, almost like when you go into old cathedrals and stuff. Yeah, like that church we were in at that plaza. There was a lot of something in there you couldn't see. Yeah, and so let's say the attention and interest is a wide spectrum sort of eye, not an eye that you like this, but it gets directed like the eye does. So you look in a certain way at a certain thing, and that interest and attention, when it's relieved of that, opens up. And you get a much more like a panoramic view or like a relaxed view. And then the same thing you're looking at and how you're looking produces different answers or different feelings. Yeah, the same. So you don't have to really change anything. It's just the emphasis changes. Yeah, and you tell the truth. There's been way too much emphasis on this idea called Paul. Almost anyone has to come to that conclusion. I mean, it's unbelievable. You have kids, you still think about more you than the kids. Yeah, and you're saying you love your kids like unbelievable, which you do, but you've been thought about way more than you ever thought about those kids, probably. That's a real cherishing. So the system itself is busy, kissing its own ass, so to speak, continuing. So when that gets shifted, obviously, because we're awake, you'll become aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you said
yeah, you're going to see the effects and you'll become aware of them. And they're strong enough to produce a change in the action figure's way of life, which is it's going to travel on the lighter side than the heavier side. Yeah, you can actually change the leaning of the action figure.
Yeah. It's like there's this.
Not
like
you don't change it, you allow it to change, and it just makes it. I mean, sure, people would like to have, this is their day off Saturday and they'd like it not to be raining, but it's raining. So you want to argue with it, you bitch about it, or you just do something else. Yeah, you know what I mean? So
I do. I mean, you said earlier when you were talking about subject object way at the beginning, you said, I'm the subject and you guys are objects, but to you guys, you're the subject, I'm the object. So it really clicked with me, like while I'm simultaneously the head is dividing the world into me and not me, that's not possible because everyone's division would be different. So that's just not inherent in the world. This is a total made up thing.
Yes, this is all made up because we're looking through an established subject objectness, which is the definition of duality or dualism, if it's personal or seemingly. So the dualism of what's going on gets expressed and projected out. So in the dreaming, and the way we see the dreaming is in a dualistic way because we're looking from a dualistic. Just like when I saw my Uncle Fred, and he had died. I saw him and I realized that wasn't Uncle Fred. You know, the idea, because it was just an inert body. How did I take Uncle Fred as the body to be Uncle Fred all those years? Well, I was taking Paul as a body to be Paul. And then when I saw Uncle Fred's body without life, it was obvious that wasn't Uncle Fred. And it still didn't apply to here, only later. Yeah, because obviously projection from here is how, just like in the world we're seeing now. It would be good if they could teach a simple class of projection in school, because there's tons of projection. People are projecting all over the fucking place what they think they're doing, or they don't want to know what they're doing, so they're suspecting others are doing. It's just pure projection. Yeah, this is a dynamic of this dreaming. Dreaming has a lot to do with projection. And you don't see that there's a projection and you perceive it as if it's real. So you think it's them that's trying to fuck with you. And maybe it is in certain experiences, but not every fucking day. Yeah. People are so concerned with themselves, they're not thinking about you walking up and down in their house, probably. They're thinking about them walking up and down in their house. So projection, as it says in the Course of Miracles, and then perception. So we are the dreaming, which is we are the projection, and we seem to appear to be the dreamt, which is the perceiving. So the object, yes, now perceives this dreaming as if it's real. And now the dreaming has the ability to affect it. Yeah. It's described perfectly in the Course of Miracles, if I can remember it. It says, you and I are the dreaming of the dream. We forget that. Okay, wow. That put a stop when I was reading it. I said, wait a minute, that seems, how the hell how do we forget that we're the dreaming of the dreaming? Seems like a pretty big, activity. So I would imagine to me, I imagine it'd be pretty hard to forget that you're dreaming if you're dreaming. Yeah, but we seem to do, and that to me it appears to us. It appears to us as the dreaming that we're the dreamt. Yeah, and in that position, as the dreamt, everything we've given the meaning to has the ability to affect us with those meanings. Yeah. Yes. So you want to get relief from that effects, but the point is the relief, the non-relief is based on you're the dreamt. Just like in Ramana says, this idea of free will and predetermination, you can debate it all you like, but really there's a sense of free will if there's a previous sense of individuality. The sense of individuality spawns the idea of free will. Yeah, because whose life would it be anyway if you weren't seemingly doing it? Yeah, so the whole structure of the narrative is based completely on the sense of individuality. And it's not an individual who has a sense of individuality. It's the sense of individuality that implies an individual. The sense of individuality, which is produced, manufactured, implies there's an individual. So you believe the individual is what puts out the sense of individuality, as it seems it would be a good cause and effect. The cause is the individual. The effect is I feel like an individual. Yeah, very clear, but that's not what's happening. Yeah. So he says, forget about the free will predetermination. Look at the sense of individuality. Exactly. If you look at the sense of individuality, this is what gets people frustrated. Is for a 3-week seminar, they know completely intellectually there's no free will, but they still think they changed their mind at Baskin Robbins. They were going to get vanilla, and then they got mocha. It blows the whole 3 weeks. Wow. Yeah, because you're thinking this is still you, and this you should have gotten the message. Even though you got the message, it's not trickle down economy. This has a fucking galvanized steel ceiling of programming. It's not AI. It's not growing into awareness. It isn't. It has stubborn programming that no matter what, it's going to keep trying to get out of self as self. That's what it does. We've learned the hard way in recovery. That's what it does. Self cannot get out of self, but tell self that. Self does not get it. It can't get it. It cannot get it. Something underneath can override it, your innermost, but it doesn't get it. Yeah. So I realized early on, don't waste time trying to coax this thing to go along with you. It can't. It can't go on the journey that you may seemingly be on to already where you are. It can't go there. It's of a different place. If the body could transcend this dreaming, it would completely disappear because the body is part of the dreaming. It's not a body was there and then fell into a dreaming and now it can transcend. No, the body is the dreaming. It doesn't go anywhere out of the dreaming. Heaven is not going to be an 18-hole golf course, you putting around, drinking, whatever. It's not going to be the way it goes. This is a limited edition. It's not a heritage edition. It's a vintage edition now, but it's quite limited edition. There's no unlimited edition. There's none. There's no unlimited edition. They're all limited, and you better get the fucking manual. Because if you keep trying to get out of this place as this place, it's going to be, well, whatever. You'll have a lot of stories to tell, that's for sure. So, yep.
Appreciate the message, Paul. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. I forgot I was talking to you a long time ago. Remember, I don't talk to people much here. The person just triggers and we go off. Yeah. I'm not into.
I know. I was just passing the baton to David is all.
I need to talk to you one-on-one. No, you don't. No, do not need to talk to me one-on-one. No way. You don't. Just hear it as impersonal is the greatest way to recognize the message, really. Just hear it. It's talking about what you're not. And just see you're not that. And then once the momentum shifts or it gets redirected, there's no stopping it. There's no finite dam that can keep the infinite water at bay. It just can't, doesn't work. Yes. This is so fragile. It can be turned on its ear in a second here. People have an event, it changes their whole life, even though their life was seemingly going step by step, 60 years, just the way I thought or whatever. One little thing happens, throws the whole thing in the air. It's all very, very fragile, the greatest certainty is the uncertainty. The greatest security is insecurity, really. When you surrender because you're insecure, that's the greatest security to me as an action figure. Yeah. So, but I humbly believe there is something that's not abbreviated, didn't start, doesn't stop, doesn't take form, doesn't lose form. I mean, it's sort of like the presence or the space is like, it's like finally recognizing, like a fish, that the water doesn't have to be wet. Yeah. You can feel the ocean, as dry, like here. Yeah. But you could get the incredible space that surrounds us. We have an idea that it should be like something, which causes it not to seem to be available. When you lose interest in those ideas, you'll sense you're moving in a, yes. Yeah. This disappears, but this doesn't disappear. I guess because it doesn't seem to appear, so it doesn't have the opposite of disappearing. This seemed to appear, which obviously has it set up for a disappearance. Yeah. Now, am I more of the appearance disappearance, or am I of the space? Because I can go, but that space that I sense in this room, I'll sense out there. Yeah. Sense it in the car, sense it here, sense it there. Yeah. So I think if you're open, things are gonna talk with you. Things are gonna tell you not things, but downloads, and you'll be on to something, because there is a point of being convinced. The action figure finally, in a humble way, recognizes its limitations. It does. And then for its targeting things that aren't possible, it starts targeting things that are possible, like, eating better or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Finding a shoe that actually fits. Yes. All right. All right, Mike.
Ready for to take the baton and then give it up? Or did he fall asleep? David?
Don't wake him up. No way. Not for a virtual hand. No, that's over. You got your answer.
On to you.
Yeah.
Hey, no, I was just gonna, you kind of almost answered my question right as it came up, which is great. I mean, it just, on the level of the action figure, it just kind of, you've said before that don't know mind, and gratitude and surrender are some of the highest expressions on that level, on its limited level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Limited edition.
There's great beauty in limitation. There's nothing, but it's to expect something that's limited to be unlimited is just too much attention. It's like putting a ton of stuff in a half-ton pickup. Half-ton pickup is a pickup, but it can't pick up that.
Yeah.
It has a certain level of what it can do or not do, or understand and not understand, and that can be worked with. Yeah, but if there's a mental demand that it reaches heights it doesn't have, it causes a lot of inflammation or stress to it. Yes, it just wants to have a shit or something. Yeah.
But it was interesting. There was, when they say events happen, deeds are done, but there's no individual doer thereof. And that can be seen. And then there's it's when you talk about seeing the emperor when it's wearing full regalia. I mean, the appearance of the free will, the appearance of decision making or choice, even though it's only appearing that way. Like I saw the system's resistance to that, and then it was very obvious that its resistance to it was the system. Was the system.
Of course, yeah.
And then, but then it just on the level of but then it was also obvious that identification is just part of the thing in the world of duality in some sense. That not really on a fundamental sense, I guess, but that you're not, like you said, you're not going to be in like a extended peak experience, forever or whatever. I mean, there's a relative taking of the thing again, in a way, just to function in a world of apparent things, even though there's a knowing that's not the case.
Hey, listen, the system does great when it's surrendered.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. The system gets what it really wants, but what it has to do, it's going to have to get over it doesn't look the way it thought. Really. Basically, if the system could actually honestly say how it's been, it would say it's doing a whole lot better without this incredible mental preoccupation, squeezing into a claustrophobic state every day, feeling a lot better. And the demands of the mental state are outlandish, and there's peace around it, and the don't know comes from Zen. Old Zen, the highest form of mind is don't know.
Right, because that
mind here is don't know.
Because that agitation is not occurring in don't know. There's openness.
Yes, just like, hey, when I thought I was supposed to get somewhere and I couldn't get there, I was frustrated. Now I know where I'm supposed to be, right here. Why? Because I'm right here. So I'm not frustrated. Yeah. You be incredibly frustrated by the past. Now the past is seen as, if it was supposed to happen, it did. If it wasn't, it didn't. And that, and things like this. And the system, even though it has that ravenous urge, with that muted, it's doing a lot better. So the system has to begrudgingly admit that it's working, even though it's not that which is working it.
Mm.
But it does. It comes to a certain kind of peace. Yeah, it does. It
Right.
does. And then hopefully maybe you'll see wherever it is as a seed assignment and find purpose in it, because it needs to have a sense of purpose, most people with an action, as an action figure. And it gets a sense of purpose. And then if you have any artistic flair, you can make up a lovely higher power, a beloved, and make this whole place look like a blind date with the everything everywhereness. And just like the Sufis do. What a fucking nice way of seeing it. Yeah, just everything is a little trick to make me kiss the beloved again or whatever. It's fucking great. Yeah. So you just the beautiful thing about the action figure, it can produce art and imagination that it can't arrive at. That's the artistic reach. I love it. So in other words, like these talks to the action figure is like verbal jazz. Yeah. Now I was confronted like with the mathematical equation of love supreme by John Coltrane, cannot fucking figure the primary number out. So you just riff over and over again, trying to get as close as you can to the primary number of love supreme. And it fucking keeps you busy. It's great. It's not like a Rubik cube with an answer. It's just a Rubik cube. You just keep fucking fooling around, doing like this, and it brings out the most you can bring out, I feel. Have you seen people who are in devotion, the love, the face that they have? I had that in Sai Baba's, man, this old guru. He's passed away in India. I went there and he would walk through the crowd every day. There was like 10,000 humans there. And I always got a place right where he'd walk by because he had well-worn ways. And the best part of it was when he was looking at the other side of the road, so to speak. And I was looking at all the people's faces, the humans looking up at him, the devotion and the love in their faces, mind-boggling, so beautiful. I just couldn't, and I'd get it twice a day. I'd just be watching. I only can see his big afro. It wasn't too big. He was losing a lot of hair, but his afro, and he's a small guy. But I saw these people like this. I don't see human faces in Marin looking like that, mostly. Not at the fucking Target or shit. I don't. Walmart's adoringly at the Procter Gamble fucking appliance you don't need. No, but there's a whole lot of expression in this that's to me like an art project. And let the true artist use you as a brush. Don't try to think you're the artist. Yeah. Yeah, you may be able to be put to good use. I had this with when I got sober, I realized I could articulate to people that they couldn't articulate. Yeah, I could describe how their head worked. Just recognizing that, I've said, all right, use me, put me to good use. I got nothing better to do, really. Old ex-addict and shit, put me in better use. So I started being able to speak to people about the exact nature of the wrong and addiction and shit. Fucking far out. If I could be put to help, it's easy to me. I see patterns instead of particulars, really. So fucking fun. So my response was, hey, these people are getting some from me. I'm going to make it available. Why not? Yeah, that's what you do, I feel. So, yep.
We're grateful. Thank you, Paul.
Well, I am incredibly grateful because a bird who isn't allowed to sing isn't going to be a bird, really. Eh? Yeah, got to sing the glories of. Yeah. You don't know how lucky I am, really feeling it. Yeah, well, it's great joy, because it's just an intimation, but it conjures itself up in me when I'm involved in intimating it. And I hope there's an intimation in you, which is like the greatest meeting of one with one, so to speak. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. I think we're gonna go have a coffee.
Wanted to mention when you were talking about the emperor with no clothes this time,
Yes.
I noticed a cute reference with the Garden of Eden, that Adam and Eve, one of the early stages was to put on the fig leaf, right? And think that that was hiding them. So that's just like clothes, doesn't have to be regalia. And to like not add, you wouldn't suggest to them, hey, you don't need to put, I mean, you would suggest to them, you don't need to put the fig leaf on. You wouldn't react to their clothes. And you certainly wouldn't, confirm that they should be ashamed, right? But it doesn't mean you don't see the fig leaf.
No, doesn't mean anything.
That's what I would.
Yeah.
So the same.
Well, the thing is, this is what I'm saying. You can see the emperor with no clothes, and in the head, it's just another clothes day. Yeah. So it's that which is part and parcel of the emperor is never going to see that it has no clothes. It sees itself as the clothes it's wearing. Yeah. So we see it. Hopefully you had it, because again, one thing would be peak experience. I saw the emperor with no clothes, and then the head uses that to exclude you from a lot of shit unless you see the emperor with no clothes. And then you keep seeing the emperor with clothes, and because of this weird little conceptual requirement, you're thinking you're fucking missing something and shit like that. No. You see the emperor with no clothes with the hopes that you'll see the emperor has no clothes, no matter if it's wearing clothes or not. Yes, that's the point. Yeah.
Exactly. No emperor.
Well, of course, but yeah, yes. Well, like did they say, clothes make the man, right? Yes, in this case, conceptual clothing implies the man. Yeah. All right, and or the woman, yeah. Want to be, yeah, clear on that. All right, David Bitterman, go back to sleep. Yeah. Take a nice nap. It's good.
Thank
You're welcome. Mike, as always. So Mike, remember, just 2:00 next week. I think we're gonna Zoom from Temecula just so people can sit in the live meeting if they want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's on the schedule.
All right, great. Thank you. Colin C. Sherry, Sherry, I'll be seeing you shortly. Vlad, I'll be seeing shortly. That's amazing. Vlad's coming over to America on Monday. Ah, very nice. He's in Portugal now. I don't know if we're gonna let him go back. So you better bring more clothing. Don't worry, we'll go to the thrift store. We may have plans for you, Vlad. Yeah. Yeah. All right, we got Pancho. Pancho, nice to see you again. Thank you for that lovely message. Enjoyed it. I'm enjoying it now. Chris B, as always. Yeah, you look good without the hat, Chris. You look like an ex-MAA fighter.
Thanks. I will reserve comment about your hat, I think.
Amber from Alberta. Nice to meet you, Amber. Yes. We got Gary C in Placerville. We got there's another old character, Rob Helma. There he is in British Columbia now. He's way up there too. Mika. James, nice to see you, James, again.
Thank you, Paul.
In the space. You're welcome, man. Kathleen, as always, yes. Keep an eye on that schedule, Kathleen. I'll see you Tuesday, probably. Martin, Miles in Vancouver. Oh, that's cool. Peter S. Peter, thanks for that share. You see that? The recognition as the example, from the example, and then seeing the example, recognizing it's the example. Yeah, that's good. Hope that made it less confusing. I don't You know what I mean? So, all right, we got Jay. Nice to see you, Jay. Jay was gonna drop in. I'm gonna have to see Jay in the spring or something when I go back east. Yes? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good. We got Eric P. I'll be seeing Eric soon.
Definitely.
That's good. Steve also. Kerry, nice to see him.
Yep.
Yeah. Al in Vegas, Peter Shantz, Miles, Mika. Let me go to this. We've got Lynn D, Boston Paul, Paula, Zoe. Zoe woke up just to be with us in sleepy Japan. Very nice. Holly, nice to see you, Holly. Esther, as always. Lilian, our German damsel. Roman Mueller. Roman, you gotta come over. Vlad's gonna be here. What are we gonna do? We're gonna put out 2 brioches with the fucking gelato. We need you there to eat it. John K. Jules on vocals. That's pretty nice. I think that's it. Hey, listen.
Amelia?
Hmm?
You get
Hey, I'm here.
Amelia.
Oh,
Yeah.
Amelia. Holy cow. Amelia dropped in.
Hi, babe.
Oh, there you are. She's in the car. You coming down?
Yeah, I am. I don't know if you can wait for me. Otherwise, just go. I'll be there soon.
We'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. All right. Park here at the church.
All
All right,
right.
honey. Bye-bye.
Yes.
See you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. See you, Paul.
Okay.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you.
David.